While the country is still basking in the euphoria of reduction in pirate attacks in the third quarter of 2019, the International Maritime Bureau released its fourth quarter report, which indicates an upsurge in piracy and maritime crimes on Nigeria's territorial waters. This is a major challenge to the country's quest of harnessing the blue economy for national prosperity. The good news, however, is that the federal government, in its development blueprint, is already working towards ending all forms of attack within its maritime space. An integrated national maritime surveillance and security architecture, codenamed the Deep Blue Project, a combination of technological masterpiece and surveillance awareness strategy, is being developed and deployed by the federal government to counter the threats in the Gulf of Guinea. Today on Panorama, we will x-ray the federal government's Deep Blue Project and its prospects for 2020. I am Dotun Ogwemi. We'll be right back. President Muhammadu Buhari has signed into law the 2020 Finance Bill, following its passage by the National Assembly and subsequent forwarding by the legislature to the president for assent. A statement by the special advisor to the president on media and publicity, Femi Adesina, indicates that the bill is anchored on the 5 strategic objectives of achieving incremental but necessary changes to the nation's fiscal laws. They include promoting fiscal equity by mitigating instances of regressive taxation, reforming domestic tax laws to align with global best practices, introducing tax incentives for investment in infrastructure and capital market, supporting micro, small and medium enterprises in line with the ease of doing business reforms, and raising revenue for government. President Buhari, while signing the bill, thanked the leadership and members of the 9th National Assembly for the hard work and support that have gone into the passage of the landmark Deep Offshore and Inland Basin PSC Amendment Bill and the Fiscal Bill, both vital to the successful implementation of the 2020 budget. This is good news to oncologists and cancer patients in Nigeria, as the state-of-the-art cancer treatment center is to be established in Kano to further improve services to many Nigerians who are grappling with the challenges of having easy access to cancer treatment, especially in that part of the country. The foundation laying for the proposed cancer treatment center was performed by Vice President Yemi Osinbajo at a one-day visit to the state. State House correspondent Jide Onifade reports.
At this time and around the world, the ground is being prepared to bury another victim of cancer, a very serious health issue that has claimed millions of lives every day and in every minute. Improving cancer treatment in Nigeria has been a source of concern to all, as arguably every home has experienced or still battling with this serious health issue. Over the last few years, efforts have been on to equip the few cancer care centers in the country, especially in public health institutions. For example, President Muhammadu Buhari in February 2019 inaugurated some machines for this purpose at the Lagos University Teaching Hospital. But these efforts are still regarded as grossly inadequate. This is why Vice President Yemi Osinbajo gives kudos to the Kano State government for this all-important cancer research and treatment center project that the foundation is being laid.
With cancer in Nigeria, each state is meant to have its own cancer control facilities and cancer control plan, and key in to the federal government's own plan. I must say that again we have a situation where Kano State has led the way.
170 well-equipped centers with trained personnel are recommended by the World Health Organization for Nigeria with its large population.
All looking forward to the completion of this project within the shortest possible time. And I assure you that you'll get all of the support that you require from the federal government.
Order for sustainability. This center is going to be managed by experts in cancer treatment administration.
It is believed that tackling the cancer scourge at the federal, state and local levels, as well as from other stakeholders, many lives will be saved. In Kano, Jide Onifade, NT News.
The sustainability in monetary policy and steady recovery in the domestic market has positively impacted the Nigerian Stock Exchange with 9.41% year-to-date performance. Chief Executive Officer, Nigerian Stock Exchange, Oscar Onyema, while analyzing the activities in the market in 2019 with prospects for 2020, said the equities market will sustain its growth trajectory. Abolade Salami reports.
Investors' sentiment and nominal growth in the macroeconomic landscape moderated bullish performance in the Nigerian capital market in the year 2019. The onshore index finished the year in a negative return of minus 14.6% to close the year at 26,842.07, while the consumer goods index also declined by 20.83%. The drive to ensure an agile and robust exchange resulted in a 5.6% growth in the market capitalization, while the fixed income segment of the market witnessed an exceptional increase of 20.42% in market capitalization, with a turnover of 389.26%.
And ETF globally is one of the fastest growing asset classes. And while we've done well, we now have about 10 ETFs listed in Nigeria. That makes us the second largest ETF market in Africa. I think there's still significant opportunity for growth in terms of number of listings, the assets under management, and the turnover of trading that goes on with ETFs.
In developing the market, management of the exchange said strategic partnership with Luxembourg Stock Exchange is to promote cross-listing and trading of green bonds between both exchanges, while its rules on pricing methodology is to ensure overall market stability and efficiency in price securities. In Lagos, Abolade Salami, NTA News.
Now let's shift attention to environmental sustainability, where improper management and disposal of waste is leading to environmental problems like flooding, air and water pollution, which has direct or indirect effects on health of the populace. This is why many groups are campaigning for better ways of handling waste. Hinginojan Adams tells us how children are being brought into such campaigns.
These children are being prepared to face the future. A future threatened by environmental degradation as a result of various human activities, one of which is improper waste disposal. Catch them young is key here, as they are being taught how to manage and transform waste to wealth. Monsura and Surura Shobulo are advocating friendly behavior towards the environment in order to avoid environmental calamities being predicted by experts if people don't change their attitude towards the environment.
The children, after eating their biscuits, where do they keep it? Oh, we need to let them know that once you don't have to litter the environment, you need to keep it. Most people are not actually conscious of the effect of their behavior towards the environment. So if you have etiquette, you are rich.
Ultimately, to encourage Nigerians and hopefully the young ones to take advantage of the environment, to turn it over.
In the decades ago, waste is known as unused, on something that is not useful, you get. So, but recently, we find ways to be useful.
A clean environment leads to a healthy life, and as such, everyone must be involved in protecting the environment. In Lagos, Hinginojan Adams, NTA News.
We'll take a break. Panorama. Many thanks for rejoining us on the program. In 2018, Africa and the Gulf of Guinea inclusive accounted for more than 40% of the total incidents of piracy globally. Nigeria has been the most affected, is however fine-tuning its maritime security architecture towards addressing this challenge. In this report, Michael Olaleye examines the initiative and its gains.
With an estimated 853-kilometer coastline and 200 nautical miles of exclusive economic zone, Nigeria occupies a strategic position in international seaborne trade and investments in Africa. The Gulf of Guinea, which is the country's waterways base, is unique for its vast maritime resources But what stands as clog in the wheel of annexing these opportunities is criminality. For instance, the International Maritime Bureau reported that the region alone recorded 72 attacks on vessels at sea out of the 201 incidents of maritime piracy and armed robbery in 2018. Apart from loss of billions of dollars in investment, there is a growing concern of inhibiting the country's quest of annexing the blue economy for growth. In the federal government's determination to increase the gross domestic income of the maritime sector, the Deep Blue Project was conceived. It is a total spectrum of maritime security, which includes law enforcement, regional cooperation, response capabilities building, and enhanced maritime domain awareness for all organs of government responsible for maritime security. It comprises a command, control, communication, computer, and intelligence C4I operational center manned by over 350 personnel trained in the use of modern physical techniques and technology to combat maritime crimes. From the center, activities on the country's territorial waters can be monitored from 200 nautical miles.
When we see you're carrying out any illegal activity, we can easily command any of our platforms out there to proceed towards there to intercept.
The Deep Blue Project has a similar version in Angola that has conducted 283 operations, 86 detention, and reduced illegal bunkering by 32%.
There is so much in the blue economy. If people are afraid to come to your area, you will see shipping going down and down and down and down. And or the few that will agree to come will charge high freight. But more importantly, is to secure the waterways.
If fully operational, experts say the Deep Blue Project could be the much-needed solution to calm the troubled waters in the Gulf of Guinea. In Lagos, Michael Olale, NT News.
Now, joining me in the studio to talk more on this is the Director General, Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, Dakuku Peterside. Welcome to Panorama.
Thank you very much.
And you saw that report, but could you also kindly speak more about the project and what has been its contribution to really maritime security?
Well, thank you very much. I saw the report by Olayeye. There are a few fundamental issues. One is that the world, not just Nigeria, is concerned about the high incidence of piracy and criminality in the Gulf of Guinea waters. Nigeria is the epicenter of activities in the Gulf of Guinea by reason of our endowment with oil and gas resources. And not just that, we are strategically located in terms of shipping. We are an important shipping lane, and in the energy balance of the world, we are critical. So Nigeria is very important in the Gulf of Guinea, and most 65% of vessels headed for the Gulf of Guinea will end up in Nigeria at one time or the other, 65% of cargo too. And Nigeria is the biggest economy in the Gulf of Guinea. Therefore, it's important that we take more than a passing interest. And unfortunately, our economic prosperity is tied to the waters, whether in the export of materials, import of finished goods, our oil and gas industry, and commerce generally, global commerce generally. Now, worried by the data staring us at the face, Nigeria designed a strategy to tackle maritime insecurity and criminality. It's called the Total Spectrum Maritime Security Strategy. Now, to actualize the strategy, we empaneled what is called the Deep Blue Project, which has 4 critical components. One is to enhance intelligence using technology, and that led to the creation of what is called the C4I Center. The second is to build up response capability, so that even when with intelligence you see what is going on within your maritime space, you have the capacity and capability to respond. So that leads us to the second element of the Deep Blue Project. And so we hired a firm to help us acquire these assets so that we can pay over time. And when we talk about assets, we mean air assets to man our maritime space, sea assets, special mission vessels, interceptors to man our maritime space, of course, land-based assets, including armored vehicles and all the other ones, to man areas adjoining our littoral areas. Another important component of the Deep Blue project is the training and retraining of our military forces and all those who are involved in maritime law enforcement, so that we will have personnel who are trained, who are not only trained, who understands the laws and can truly enforce maritime laws within our maritime space. The other important component is the fact that we need to look at our laws again, bring them up to date, strengthen the laws, create the right legal framework, so that even when we intercept people, we can successfully prosecute them. So all of these things are on. We're firing from all nozzles at the same time, because the world expects so much from us. The world is also looking at us. Whatever we do, both our action and inaction is of concern to the world. And everything for the first time is being brought together to bring to its barest minimum, if not eliminate, the issues of maritime piracy and criminalities, both at our Niger Delta backwaters and within our territorial waters. So basically, that's what the Deep Blue project is concerned about. It's a multi-pronged maritime security architecture to deal with piracy and other criminalities. And I think it's progressing at pace.
And talking about some of the acquisitions, I know that a vessel has been acquired for some sort of monitoring of the territorial waters. Is that so?
We have acquired a number of assets, not just vessels. I'm sure that what we mean is that in December, we received in the country the first special mission vessel with facility for landing of helicopters, special mission helicopters with communication gadgets, of course fitted with all sorts of gadgets to enable us monitor or patrol and monitor the waterways, and as well as fight criminality in our waterways. I'm happy to say to you that we will receive the second special mission vessel this month, and we will receive a number of interceptor vessels this month. We are expecting a total of 17 interceptor vessels, but we'll receive a number of them this month, at least 3 interceptor vessels. These are high-speed vessels that can move at an incredible speed, so that if at any point in time, through our intelligence system, we detect any suspicious movement somewhere, any strange movement, any dark activity, we can launch out interceptor vessels, we can communicate with interceptor vessels. They now intercept you. That's what the name, of course, interceptor vessels. They can intercept you, interrogate you, investigate you. Then we also, of course, I have special mission aircraft that will keep a watch on what you're doing. Then, of course, we have other facilities, that will keep a watch at what you're doing. For the first time, I think that the country seems to have given priority attention to the issues of insecurity in our waterways. Because without it, we can't achieve much in terms of global commerce. Even in the exploration or exploitation of oil and gas resources, we can't do much.
And has the Deep Blue project, has it actually been, is it operational now, or when are you looking at it?
It is partially operational. The intelligence system, what we refer to as the C4I system, is working, is fully operational. What we're doing with the C4I thing is to integrate it with Navy's Falcon Eye. Falcon Eye is the Navy domain awareness asset. I also integrate it with the C3I of the Nigerian Ports Authority. The idea is to get an integrated system where all active players in the maritime sector are working together and seeing things from a common perspective. It's important. In the past, one thing that is lacking is coordination, and we're dealing with that right now. We're dealing with the issue of coordination, acting from a common platform, common perspective. We have a common enemy, we have a shared vision. So there's no reason why we shouldn't act together.
And you've talked so much about acquisition of vessels and what, but there is also one aspect, which is the Suppression of Piracy and Other Maritime Offences Act. How far has that been able to go to, really achieve some of these things that you're talking about? Because it's not really about arresting, also prosecution and all of that.
Yeah, well, it's one act I'm very proud of. It was facilitated by NIMASA, sent to the National Assembly as an executive bill, and passed in record time by the 8th National Assembly and assented to by the President, making Nigeria the first country in sub-Saharan Africa to have a stand-alone piece of legislation addressing piracy and maritime insecurity. And mind you, that piece of legislation itself is the national or municipal domestication of two important United Nations Convention, what is called the UNCLOS and Suppression of Unlawful Acts at Sea Convention, SUA Act and this, and UNCLOS. Now, it's been passed into law. Again, NIMASA is the lead agency in the implementation of that law. We're working closely with the Nigerian Navy, with Federal Ministry of Justice, and other key state actors. The idea is that we'll now have teeth to prosecute anybody who is caught and who is suspected to be involved in piracy or criminalities in our waters. Now, part of the thing is that even if you get involved in another country, we can bring you back to this country and try you under our laws. And that even if you're a foreigner, you commit any of these things, suspected to commit any of these things in our soil or within our waters, we can also try you under our laws. It gives us wide powers, prosecutorial powers. And again, we are working closely with both Nigerian Shippers Council and other state actors to retrain our judges, let them understand how shipping and the maritime sector works. So in that area, I think we're doing well. The other day, the Attorney General told me that he has never seen an agency push this much. And I said to him, because we enjoy the support of Mr. President and the Honorable Minister of Transport and Minister of State for Transport. So the sky is our limit. There is absolutely no reason why we shouldn't push for reforms the way we're pushing for reforms today in the maritime sector.
And lastly, just what spectrum of opportunities really lie in when all of these things are being achieved and galvanized with all the support that you're talking about getting and have gotten so far? What spectrum of opportunities lie in, the maritime sector, especially looking at the blue economy?
Well, if I reel out spectrum of opportunities, we won't live here today. But the most important thing is that for anybody to take advantage of the opportunities in the maritime sector, you need to have the sea or rivers or the maritime space that is safe and secure. And that's why primarily we're dealing with that issue that can deny us the maximization of the opportunities inherent in the natural endowment of the sea that we have. Meaning that we're dealing with the issues of security, issues of criminalities in our waterways, so that those who want to be involved in fishing can go ahead and do their fishing without let or hindrance. Those who are involved in shipping, those who are involved in the entire gamut of blue economy, which is the maritime economy or the ocean economy, can go ahead and do whatever they want to do, including oil and gas exploration, subsea or mineral exploitation, electricity generation using the sea, all the activities associated with the seas and ocean. Well, all of that is tied to having a safe, secure, and conducive environment for people to conduct their affairs.
Well, it's actually quite a lot. If you were allowed really to continue, I'm sure we wouldn't live here. Thank you so much, Mr. Dakuku Peterside, the Director General.
And just before we conclude, you know that on Saturday, the cream de la cream of the maritime community and the Nigerian society will gather to celebrate the best of the best in the maritime sector, to appreciate those who are doing great things. And that is called the NIMASA Corporate Dinner/Industry Merit Awards. It's an award like no other. That day, the regulator in the country will recognize those who are doing great things in the sector, whether shipping companies that are doing great things, maritime training institutions, employers of maritime services that are doing great things, those who are doing exceptionally great things. We're going to celebrate excellence that day. On that day, we're going to be celebrating our staff and publicly recognized staff that spent 15 years, 20 years, 25 years, 30 years, and those who have done exceptional things in the agency. Today, we'll talk about the records of the agency. It's
Yeah, well, sir,
that are exceptionally good.
Yes,
and
of course.
We invite those who are supposed to be there to please.
Definitely, we would all be there, and definitely it would turn out to be a very great event, I'm sure, very sure. Thank you so much, Mr. Dakoko Peterside. And now moving on, arrangements are ongoing for the 2020 Armed Forces Remembrance Day celebration. Doindia is standing by live at the Eagle Square for an update.
Thank you, studio, for joining me. As you have rightly pointed out, arrangements are ongoing for a wonderful 2020 celebration of the Nigerian Armed Forces Remembrance Day. And first, let me refresh your mind to the history of this event. It was actually copied from the conclusion of the Second World War, which was meant to bring together families of the fallen heroes who participated in that World War II. And as it relates to us in Nigeria, it actually started after Nigeria's civil war. And one lesson that one can take home from that is the bravery and gallantry of the members of the Nigerian Armed Forces who paid the supreme price with their life to ensure that the unity of Nigeria is restored. As it is now, there are a lot of activities already lined up for this event. Earlier, I spoke to the Acting Director of Defense Information, Brigadier General Unwachuku, who told me that this event has over the years served as a morale booster to members of the Nigerian Armed Forces, and especially troops in the theater of war. And of course, it has also cushioned the effect of losing members of the families, especially to those who have lost their relatives.
Thank you so much, Doindia. And that's our bit on Panorama from the Lagos Network Center. Many thanks for watching and good afternoon.